But I went to a new restaurant this weekend. Never been there before. Parking is not great, but the food was good. Guillermo's. Yes. You know, they have some of the best calamari I've tasted in San Antonio.
I was there about a month ago for the first time.
Okay. Yay. Yeah, it's downtown.
I've been wanting to go there forever.
You should go. Although I will tell you, it's a maze to figure out where the front door is. But it's awesome. All right, I'm going to call the docket. When I call your name, let me know you're here. If you don't answer, I'm going to assume you're not here and a warrant may be issued for your arrest. Fabian Cardenas. Josue or Josu Ramirez. How do you pronounce your first name? Okay. Michael Stacker. Michael Stacker. In custody, we have Victor Rivas, Benny Santos, Celine Beard, Robert Shanahan.
Here.
Carlo Madrigal Hernandez. Carlo Madrigal Hernandez. If there's a Jeremiah Escada Martinez, your case has been closed. Daniel Fretwell, custody, Tevon Towns. Thank you. Or Tevin Towns. Ruben Ariado is in custody. Lupe Sands Martinez. Elsa Morales. Griselda Rosales. Ramiro Valle. Thank you. Thank you. In custody, we have Brian Swaney Murphy, Roberto Maldonado, Christina Soria. Good morning. In custody, we have Cristobal Miranda, Luis Angel Camacho. In custody, we have Jonathan Oleg. Olage. Jonathan Daniel Olage. When we bring him out, don't let him know I mispronounced his name. He's going to be shocked I'm able to pronounce it. Sonny Alvarez. Sean Griffin. Vernon Rodriguez. Jashane Caldwell. Jashane Duran Caldwell. In custody, we have Eddie Alvarez. Aiden Silva and Saul Lacuna will be at 11. Oh, are you Saul Lacuna? Thank you. Shalise Snitz. Carrie Henderson is in custody. Is there anyone who came in late or your name was not called? All right, what's your name? All right. You need to get on the front row. Anyone else? All right, everyone, these are the rules of the court. Over here is the file for criminal trial division. Over here is the file for family violence. Once you grab your file, just sit it on the prosecutor's desk. I'm trying to keep the courtroom as least congested as possible. My understanding, there's a new strain of COVID. Also, there's been an outbreak of leprosy in Florida, which will slowly probably make its way here. One, if you have a client who's in custody, yes, they need to be brought out because I like for them to know that something is going on with their case. If you're calling for an interpreter, do not leave the courtroom because there are so few interpreters. And once they come to the courtroom, unless it's a jury trial or hearing, they're only going to be here for 5 minutes. When do you need an interpreter? If your client prefers to speak in a different language other than English, we're going to need an interpreter, whether you speak their language or not. Once you request an inmate, do not leave the courtroom because the deputies are in charge of security and they can have only so many people in the box. If you call your client and they bring your client up and you leave, you are being selfish because what that means is there's another attorney who may be here who cannot call his client out because your client is in the box. To the back, we have the CLO, Vashawn Abrams. Vashawn, can you raise your hand? That is her desk. That is her office. Even though she does not have any doors, consider that her office. Do not place items on her desk. Do not sit on her desk. Do not turn your back to her, because if you turn your back to her and she's sitting down, guess what she sees? Do not put any paperwork on her desk, because guess what? That is not your desk. That is not your office. If you try to treat her desk as your office, I will make it my plan to come to your office unannounced. I will sit on your desk. I will put items on your desk. So do not do that. To my left is the court reporter. Diana, can you raise your hand? Do not put anything on her desk. Do not put anything in her office. Her office includes where you see those microphones posted. Her equipment is over $10,000. In the words of Party Reborn, if you break it, you have bought it. So do not put anything on her desk. And to make this Monday a great Monday for her, do not whisper when you're before the court, because she cannot hear. If your inmate is called out and we are on the record, you will know we're on the record because I've called the style of the case. Do not talk behind her in the box. If you let the deputy know, the deputy will move you and your client to the end of the box, and that will make her life easier. Today is Monday. I know we're all a little bit sad because we all thought we would be retired and we are not. But the good thing about Monday is, guess what? It's fresh beginnings. It's a new day. So everyone, please confer with kindness in your heart. Do not approach the court coordinator for a reset or continuance, because I'm the only person who can give you that. So everyone, please confer. Diana, are you by chance going to the cafeteria? Ice, yes. Just ice. Just some ice.
Have a blessed day.
Thank you.
You see the on the right with the beard, which is. I've already converted.
In person. How well?
Caldwell. Yeah. Vernon.
All right, Vernon Rodriguez.
No problema, no problema.
Vernon Rodriguez. Are you Vernon Rodriguez? All right, you can come forward. All right, is this your client, Vernon Rodriguez?
It is, Judge.
All right, so where are we on this case?
Judge, we have an offer. I have reviewed all the written discovery with my client, but I've got to watch the videos. We have an offer. We're not able to take it today. So whatever the court would like to do.
All right, other than you're not having had a chance to view the video, is there any discovery that's outstanding?
Well, not that I know of.
Okay, so what I'm going to do, can I have a reset form, please? Oh, Caroline, that's you. Okay. All right, Caroline, let's recall this back for a plea deadline date. And we're going to put it on August 28th. Is that enough time for you, counsel?
Oh, yes.
All right, so we're going to do a plea deadline date of August 28th. On that date, you need to let the court know whether or not you're accepting the state's offer. Do you understand? All right, is there anything else from either side?
No, Judge.
All right, once you sign the reset form, you're excused.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome.
Don't leave.
Let me arrest you, please.
I'm gonna see what we can do.
Ruben Arellano. Arellano. Ramiro Valle.
Thank you.
Have a great day, Mr. Beck.
Yes, I'll be back with the form. It pays to get here early, Judge.
It does. That's what I tell everybody. Mhm. Mhm.
He was reset.
Okay. Okay, which page is that?
11.
Mhm.
He was reset for 8 weeks.
Okay. All right, thank you. State Stacker, who's on page 9. Second one, he's been reset for a plea with Judge Nahara on the 17th. And then Camacho, who's on page 11. The second one, he's been reset for August 15th.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Judge, I'm sorry, I'm from Camacho, could you give me the date again?
Oh, it's August 15th.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome.
Good morning,
Hello.
Your-
Good morning. How are you doing? I like the tie.
As a gift from my daughter-in-law, stepdaughter.
Okay, that is beautiful. I like it.
It's hand painted
Oh, wow.
in Chicago. All I can say about it is that I wouldn't pay that much for it.
Yeah.
But that's a different story.
But
In
it's
any case,
beautiful.
I am here this morning for a person named Jay Shanae Caldwell, who I'm told is checked in or somehow, but I've looked in the hallway and in the courtroom and she's not here.
All right. No, she did not.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so I did check.
Jay Shanae Caldwell. Caroline, can you see if that's a PR bond or a commercial bond? So do you want to try to see? if you-
I've got business in the courthouse for another 30, 40 minutes. I'll check back before I head out.
Okay, all right, we'll see you back.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. He's gonna come back.
Yeah, I'm great. Find it out, she can- Okay. What do you want? Yeah. Oh, that's my thought. I'll make that up. Yeah, I'll put it. Okay. That's it.
Oh, and Bashan, let me know when you're ready for the case on Ada Silva.
You know, yeah, okay.
Modification and first.
And see, I'm trying to do this too for kidney health. So I'm gonna do them both.
It's like, okay. I appreciate this.
Yeah, my youngest just started from straight away. Yeah. She was.
Yes. Do you have your file?
Oh,
And then
File. What file are you approaching on? What case?
it's Lupe Martinez. I wasn't gonna ask for a recess. We've negotiated, it's worked out. It's gonna be a plea.
Oh, just let the clerk know and they'll make sure that they have the paperwork once you completed it.
Great. It's gonna take them a little bit to take for it. I was gonna run it out of court.
Okay, all right. Thank you. Good seeing you.
Good seeing you. Never got an answer.
Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry.
Okay, and provide you have a motion to adjudicate anything about bond, the bonded requirements of the time deferred adjudication. The state has looked at it, they're recommending 5,000. Is there a way to approach the question? Okay, okay.
There you go. Thank you. And for some reason, there was a major backup in traffic on 90 this morning. I don't know what was happening. Yeah, but there was no accident. And you know how you drive on the freeway and I'm glad there was no accident, but last time I checked, there are no red lights or stop signs on the freeway. So once you get to the front, then you say, okay, why were people not moving? No construction. I can't think of a reason why that would be. But I forgot it was going to be back to school.
Tomorrow's gonna be more, because all the schools know.
Parents are happy, children are not happy. When we were growing up, when was back to school for us? I think it was later in the year. But I was one of the children who, even though you did nothing on the last day of school, I still wanted to go because I didn't want it to affect any grades, even though the grades were always submitted. I'm like, no. They're like, Stephanie, you don't have to go. Yes, I do. I need my perfect attendance. And so the last day of school, we would end up doing when I was younger, we would end up playing Old Maid, the Old Maid cards or something.
They still have them.
Yes. We would do that. And last day of school was just half a day. So. I miss those days.
I just saw that you have a puzzle in the back. Are you a puzzler?
Yes, we are.
So am I. I love puzzles.
Okay, so you're going to have to help us. I'm putting it with you. That puzzle that is on the desk back there, whenever you're walking around and you're just like, what am I going to do? Go into my office and start working on that sunflower puzzle.
But is it really hard?
Oh my God.
It's not hard. We just don't have time to work on it.
All the pieces fit each other.
Yeah. So I don't know. That depends on what brand it is. Have you looked at the back? Does it have letters?
Oh, now I know what you're talking about because I get my mom. We don't do that.
Well,
No, that's called cheating.
what I do is I section them out into the letters so I can work in a smaller puzzle, but
No.
they can work on a corner.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But yeah, no, we do a lot of puzzles. When I was growing up, we would do puzzles, and puzzles are expensive now. But my mom does a lot of puzzles, and usually we do 5,000 pieces of whatever. So those pieces are small. But the one that we've been working on, how many months have we been working on that?
A year.
It has not been a year, Norma. Norma's lost in the time continuum. But
Every year. It's in December and we're already in August. So it's like,
So what you need me to do is get you a puzzling table, right?
Mhm.
So it has those drawers. Do you have it?
Yeah.
So I have it in my house and I sit there in front of the TV and watch whatever is I'm binging at the
well,
moment.
I will tell you, if my mom saw the way we were working on our puzzles because the space is so small, she would just say, Stephanie, have I not taught you anything? So we don't even arrange the pieces by color. We just start working on it. So whenever you're here, you have a standing invitation. I guess I shouldn't say invitation. You have a standing order
Oh, Lord.
to go to the back and work on the
And
sunflower
one
puzzle.
piece.
Yes, one piece at least, because we're trying to get that off the table.
That's funny. Well, anyways, the one you have framed up there looks cool.
Yes.
Awesome.
Okay. All right. So on this case, you're asking for a bond?
Yes, Your Honor, I've spoken with the state. They've recommended a 25,000, which is what it was set at previously,
Okay.
and he's in custody.
And I don't see any new number ones. Is that correct?
I'm not aware of a new case.
Okay, all right.
Latest Keller report.
Move back to their copy.
All right, Norma, on this case, they're gonna need a setting to hear the motion to revoke.
It was set already for 9/6.
Yeah,
if I'm
all right.
mistaken.
Okay, all right,
Okay,
great.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Who's here on Celine Briard? All right, she's in the back.
We need to just approach on it real quick when they get her, I guess, if you want. her
Okay.
present.
Yes. All right, so if you ask for her, they will bring her out.
They're bringing-
Okay, thank you.
Sorry, Mayor, please.
Yes,
This is off talking matter, but I'm asking for expert for a South Sea.
sure. Is this a appointed case?
Is
Okay. You're welcome. Have a good one. I'm ready. All right. Could I see the parties on Aiden Silva? Okay.
Just FYI, Your Honor, we did a UA and it came out negative.
Okay, all right, thank you. All right, are you Mr. Silva? Yes. All right, Mr. Silva, the reason why we're having this compliance hearing is because you have not been taking your urinalysis when you're supposed to take them. And when you have taken them, you have been positive. Do you understand?
Yes, that's what I've been told.
Well, I mean, if you've done cocaine, alcohol, or marijuana.
Nothing, I'm not taking anything.
No, this is what the court has. On June 8th, 2023, you tested positive for alcohol.
Wow.
I'm sorry, you tested positive for alcohol on May 15th, 2023, May 23rd of 2023, May 31st of 2023, June 6th of 2023, and June 22nd, 2023. You are not allowed to drink alcohol while on probation. It does not matter if you're in your home, at the family cookout, at a restaurant, you are not allowed to drink alcohol while on probation. Do you understand?
I do understand.
That is the law. You are on probation. You cannot do the things that you normally would do, whether they're legal or not, while you're on probation. Do you understand?
I do understand what you're saying to me.
Then We have on June 29th, you tested positive for cocaine, alcohol, and marijuana. Then July 6, 2023, you tested positive for opiates, marijuana, and cocaine.
Okay.
You are not allowed to use drugs while on probation in this court. And the drugs that you're testing positive for are illegal. With regards to the marijuana, if you're using marijuana without a medical reason for using it that has been presented to probation, you're violating your probation. Do you understand?
I do understand.
Now, I understand that you tested negative on April 27, 2023, May 1st, 2023, May 8th, 2023, June 15th, 2023, July 13th, 2023, and July 20th, 2023. Now, I'm reading that you are the provider for your wife and your children. If I have another positive test from you that is not the result of a prescribed medication, what is going to end up happening is a motion to revoke is going to be filed. If the motion to revoke is in proper order, I am going to sign it. And once I sign it, a warrant will be issued for your arrest, and you will be picked up wherever you may be. If you're at your employment, they're going to arrest you at your employment. If you're at your home, they're going to arrest you at your home. If you are in pickup line to pick up your children, they will arrest you in the pickup line, and they will call someone to come pick up your children, be it your wife or relative or Child Protective Services. Do you understand?
I do understand.
If a motion to revoke is filed, and if I find it true, you are looking to join up to 10 years in prison. I'm not saying you will be sent to prison for 10 years, but what I am saying is that is in the realm of possibility. Do you understand?
I do understand.
So from here on out, everything you do, there are two questions you need to ask yourself. One, is what I'm doing, could it potentially result in me going to prison for 10 years? If the answer is yes, don't do it. If the answer is maybe, don't do it. Do you understand?
I do understand.
Now, they were recommending that you go to inpatient treatment. He has tested negative today. So I'm not looking at placing him into inpatient treatment today. Probation, what are your thoughts?
Your Honor, I think possibly, he's currently in the intensive outpatient program. I believe he has like 2, maybe 3 weeks left of that. Possibly a drug patch.
Okay. All right. I'm going to alter and amend for a drug patch or the UA hotline. And that will be until further notice.
He is currently, Your Honor, I just want to point out, taking weekly UAs.
Okay. All right. So does probation want both the drug patch and the UAs?
We can stick with the weekly UAs, Your Honor.
All
And
right.
then you've already explained if he tests positive again to file an MTR.
All right. So if you could speak to him and find out which is cost effective for him, the weekly UAs or the drug patch.
Okay.
What type of work do you do?
In construction,
The patch may not be best for him. All right, so the patch may not be best for you because you're working in construction and it's 105 degrees sometime, and there may be some issues with the patch. So we'll continue with the weekly UAs, but I want him on the UA hotline, and he's the test weekly. And make sure they're testing for alcohol.
Yes, Your Honor.
Is there anything you need from the court?
Pues me han dicho que probablemente salían positivos porque tenía diabetes, pero no sé, yo nunca me he chequeado.
Well, they told me that maybe I was coming out positive because I had diabetes, but I've never checked that.
All right, diabetes, the last time I checked, having diabetes will not give a positive UA for cocaine.
Porque pues ya van varias que me han salido positivos, pero yo no he hecho nada, la verdad.
It's
Yo no
just
sé
that
por qué han salido positivos.
I've had several positive tests and I haven't done anything, so I don't know why they're coming out positive.
All right, here's what I know.
Esto es lo que yo sé.
And if I'm wrong, I am open to being corrected.
Por favor, esto-
If you have diabetes, you will not test positive for cocaine. You will not test positive for marijuana. Now, mind
Okay.
you, that's the last time I checked. If there's somebody who has some study that will show that if you have diabetes, you can test positive for cocaine, you can test positive for opiates, you can test positive for marijuana, show it to me, and I will apologize. But so far, I haven't seen any studies that says that. You understand?
Yes.
All right, so again, is there anything that you have not been given by probation that you feel you need that would help you be successful on this probation?
No,
No, well, that's all.
yo estoy siguiendo las órdenes que me dieron.
I'm following the orders that I was given.
All right, probation, is there anything else?
No, Your Honor.
All right, probation will go over your amended conditions with you. Good luck.
Okay, buena suerte.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure, Judge. I haven't finished filling it out.
Yes,
Just to put it through the-
sure.
And I'm gonna put it today.
Thank you so much. Have a good one.
You too, thank you.
Celine Briard.
We have something to work out.
Okay, all right, just have a seat.
The court's permission.
That's gonna be a plea.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome.
No, not at all.
Hey, Mom. Okay. All right, are the parties ready on Shalice Schnitz? Good morning.
She's coming. Your Honor, we have,
Where's your client?
she's coming. So, Your Honor,
All right. Court is calling 2023 CR 5651, State of Texas versus Shalice Schnitz. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Jason Garahan, Your Honor.
Defense?
Shannon Locke for Shalice Schnitz.
And are you Ms. Schnitz?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, the court is in receipt of a motion to modify full house arrest. State, have you had a chance to review the motion?
Previously, we did, yes.
All right, are you in agreement with the motion?
No, we're not, Your Honor.
All right, defense, do you have any witnesses?
I do, Your Honor. I have, so we're really asking for two things. We're asking that she be allowed to pick up and drop off her children from school. And then additionally, we're asking that she be allowed to participate in outpatient alcohol treatment. We have the outpatient alcohol treatment provider here. We'd like to call him as a witness if we could.
Okay, all right, you can call whatever witness you'd like to call. All right, can you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
All right, you can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
My name is Richard Paul Green III.
All right, defense.
Tell us a little bit about yourself. What do you do for a living?
I am a licensed therapist specializing in chemical dependency counseling. I'm the CEO of Precision Recovery in San
All right,
Antonio.
and just not to interrupt, but I'm aware of who the gentleman is. So if you want to
Can you
move past that, you
Sure.
can. If not, state if you want him to go into his credentials, you can.
That's all right.
All right,
Thank you, Your Honor. Can you describe the program, just briefly what we're here for? Ms. Schnitz is on full house arrest, and I'm asking, really, what we're all asking is how can she participate, or what kind of supervision does she need to participate in your program? And can you describe the program to the court that she has signed up?
Yes, I can do so. Ms. Schmitz has voluntarily entered the Precision Recovery long-term treatment and monitoring program, specifically for felony DWI defendants. It's a long-term medically integrated program, which lasts 3 to 5 years. She will start with an intensive outpatient level of care, possibly partial hospitalization level of care, and then move through the program where she will see a professional at least at a minimum of once a week for the next 3 to 5 years.
Is this something that she can do? So is it more effective to be in person for those meetings or remote?
We do like to see our patients in person. We find it to be much more accurate. The monitoring part of the program is very intense. It's built on the modeled after the physician's health program and the airline pilot's HIMSS program. So it's a very high level of monitoring, and we really need to see people in person.
If the court made participating in your program a condition of bond, and Ms. Schnitz were to not complete the program, stop going, or begin using substances that were prohibited, would you be able to report that to pretrial and to the court?
We could and would report that to the court.
And what kind of monitoring can you provide in addition to right now she's on scrim and she's on the ignition interlock device?
So we would add to that LCMS urine drug screens weekly, randomly. We would also add a heart rate variability monitor to be worn 24/7. That shows us when there's issues with heart rate variability that the client or patient is under stress and maybe at risk of relapse. She would be on remote treatment monitoring, where we'd have our call center ready to call her. They would contact her 3 times a month regardless, but in case there's any issue, we'd be using a medical compliance device called by GeriSafe called MediTrust. That machine videotapes her compliance with her medication. She's already been prescribed naltrexone. When she's on the right therapeutic dose for naltrexone, and we'll be measuring that through laboratory tests to make sure it's at the right level. She won't get any reinforcing effects from alcohol if she did relapse on alcohol, and it will blunt the reinforcing effects of other substances as well. We'll be using a recovery app that is designed for the therapeutic courts, where called Reconnect, where we can tell where she is 24/7. We can geofence her out of areas should the court or her treatment team decide to do so. We also can know whether she's attending her AA meetings, which is very important. We really strongly recommend she be present to an AA meeting at least twice a week. We can tell whether she's on time, whether she left early, and whether she's contacting people in her support group, including her Alcoholics Anonymous sponsor. That's just some of the monitoring we do. There's more than that, including outcome testing regularly.
And so could you just describe for the court what she needs to leave her house to participate?
So she would need to leave her house to participate in Thursday night groups where we can run urinalysis weekly and check in for outcomes and for other signs and symptoms of any type of issue that would lead towards relapse, any, for lack of a better term, disruption in emotional sobriety. Beginning September 18th, the plan is to bring her into a partial hospitalization group where she would be at our clinic from 9 in the morning till 5 in the evening. So she needs some travel time in there. So probably from 8:30 at least till 6. Then after that, she'll be at a level of care of intensive outpatient where we'll be seeing her Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. for 12 weeks. After that, we'll be seeing her on Mondays and Thursdays from 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. in what's called supportive outpatient. She will be have physician appointments with our physician, with our addiction medicine physician too. That schedule I don't know at this time. He would like to see her at least one time in person, and the rest can probably be handled through video.
And can you provide these schedules to Missionets who could then provide them to pretrial in advance?
Yes, absolutely.
I have no further questions. I'll pass it.
So this program is, what type of substance is the person addicted to?
They can be addicted to anything. Most of our patients have alcohol use disorder.
So they have to admit they have an alcohol dependency, particularly in this case.
Admit?
Yeah.
Well, yes, they come around to it eventually.
Okay.
Yeah, there's
denial.
denial is usually there.
Yeah, I'm not trying to get into all the clinical things.
Yeah.
But I mean, this program is, especially in this particular case of this client of yours, it's an alcohol dependency that she has.
We don't use the term dependency anymore. We say alcohol use disorder.
Okay, I mean, change the name, but it's the same thing. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, and in this particular case, so do y'all make reports? What do y'all do? Do y'all make written findings?
We can do whatever the court would like. Usually for pretrial, we provide what that pretrial officer wants. Same thing with probation.
So if, I mean, anything's discussed, it can be in a report that's sent to the judge.
Yes, anything that's relevant to the public safety or the compliance of the patient with the program.
Okay, no further questions.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right, I have a question. Any objections to the court asking questions?
No objection from the state, Ron.
No objection, Your Honor.
So you're able to do these meetings by Zoom?
We do have the capability. We'd rather not do anything other than medical follow-ups through Zoom. We definitely would like to have the first medical assessment in person. There's just certain things we need to be able to do, like palpitate the liver, et cetera, and look for physiological issues that are actually hands-on. We'd prefer to see all our patients in person. We've used Zoom in the past, and it's our belief that in person is much more effective.
All right. So the only thing that you may not be able to use, well, you do not use Zoom for, is for medical testing.
We cannot use Zoom for medical testing.
Okay.
Or laboratory testing.
I just wanted to
Yeah.
make sure.
Yeah, we can't, we have not found a way to use laboratory testing or urine drug screens or quantitative EEGs, many different medical interventions cannot use remotely.
Okay. All right, any other questions?
Just to follow up, Alcoholics Anonymous in a remote setting, is it as effective in a remote setting as it is in person?
In my opinion, no. It really takes being there, being in the moment and sitting with people who can relate to who you are. But Alcoholics Anonymous is very important for treatment. And there was a great meta-analysis that was published in 2020 that shows that it may be the only thing that maintains long-term sobriety. And I can provide that study for the court if you'd like to see.
I've read it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes.
I appreciate
I
that.
always try to keep up on all things treatment and anything really to do with the legal system. Thank you.
I really appreciate that.
Oh, you're welcome. I try. All right, thank you. Is there anything else?
Your Honor, just argument, I suppose.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
I would like to ask your client a couple of questions. Is there any objection?
Well, Your Honor,
Because there are things that I need to know.
okay,
And if I don't know them,
I understand.
then,
I understand. I guess we'll see what the question.
all right, can you raise your right hand for me?
Yes.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth? So help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
Shelley Schnitz,
All right, how many children do you have?
3.
What are their ages?
I have a 22-year-old son with severe special needs, quadriplegic. I have a 15-year-old daughter, and I have a 6-year-old daughter.
All right. So who helps you with your children?
Patrick, who is my boyfriend. We've known each other for the past 10 years. He helps me, my family helps me, my mother and father, as well as some other supports.
Are they all here in Bear County?
No,
All right, so who's here in Bear County that helps you?
Patrick.
Okay. And what are the school hours for the 6-year-old? Does the 6-year-old take the bus or no?
No, ma'am, we live exactly 1 mile from the school, which is Wilderness Oak Elementary. And so we cannot obtain the bus permission for her to ride the bus because we're too close. So she has to be taken to school every morning. Drop off is between 7 and the tardy bell rings by 7:25. And then pickup is in the afternoon. The bell rings at 2:45 to start pickup. And then it just depends on how many cars and things are there to go through the line.
All right, and your 15-year-old, does the 15-year-old take the bus?
No, ma'am, she's at Reagan High School.
Mhm.
And she, their time is 8:30 to 9 to get to school. And the time that she gets out is 4:30 to 5.
So you do drop off with her?
Yes, I have split custody with her father, and we do that.
So if I were to allow you to do this thing at the clinic, how are you planning on taking the 15-year-old to school? Because the person testified that it's from 8:30 to 8:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. So who's going to be taking the 9-year-old? I'm sorry, the 15-year-old,
I
if I were to allow that.
I can make arrangements on the special days, Your Honor.
And Your Honor,
No. Still asking questions. So what would be your arrangements for the 15-year-old during that time?
I would probably ask one of the moms that's a friend of hers that has a child that goes to that school that I'm friends with, or something like that, just on a very short-term situation.
All right, any other questions?
Help you say, John.
you also take her early.
Oh, yes, sir. I'm sorry. I didn't think of that. Yes, sir. I absolutely could do that.
Usually if you can get, you can get them anytime after 8,
Oh, sure. Yes, yes. Yes,
and that would allow you enough time to.
yes, I'm sorry. Yes.
All right. Anything else from either side?
Nothing from the state.
All right, the court will hear argument.
Your Honor, we're hoping that you allow her to drop off and pick up her kids from school, obviously. I think the court's investigated that. I think it's.
All right, so let's stop right there. State, do you have any objection with her being able to drop off her children?
Your Honor, just the severity of the allegations and the indictment, it's I believe a 14 count indictment of intox manslaughter, intox assault, aggravated assault, failure to stop an underage, causing a death, and failure to stop an underage, causing injury. The state would just be opposed to her driving it out.
Okay. And are you currently, well, I'm assuming she's currently driving.
No, ma'am.
She's on full house arrest, Your Honor. So to do the urinalysis, for example.
Well, no. So if she's on full house arrest, then we were here last time where the court allowed her to attend parenting night. How did she do that?
Because we got specific.
No, we got permission, but how did she get to parenting?
Oh, Patrick was able to take me because it was after his work hours.
Okay, all
But,
right.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Do you mind if I say one more thing?
No.
Because of his work hours, he has a position at Southwest Research, which is entirely across town from our home and area. And he goes in early and he works later. So he could not manage to not be late to drop her off or not be late to work and also to pick her up, because of his time involvement with work and the consideration with traffic and him driving across town. So that would leave me as the option to take and pick up.
All right, State, do you have any objections with her going if she's not driving?
No.
All right, that's what B is for.
There would be no way to take a bus. There's no bus in my area.
Mhm.
It would not, the school is 1 mile from my house.
Mhm.
And also, Your Honor, I have not been driving for over 5.5 months.
Mhm.
I have been to 30 days of full inpatient rehabilitation, which I was very successful at.
That's 30 days.
But Your Honor, I'm sorry.
No,
Okay.
you can
Then I
continue.
also did a 12-week intensive outpatient program as well. And I have been perfectly I have not had any issues after that with any testing, with anything else in that time, Your Honor. And I am very committed to my sobriety and staying clean and doing the right thing, Your Honor. That is the most important thing, and my family. And if I have to pay for transportation currently on an Uber or a Lyft, because I do not have any family or anyone else that may take me. And Your Honor, that is costing me $900 a month. And Your Honor, I have come to the limits of my financial situation. I have no retirement. I have no savings. But I'm trying very hard, but financially, I cannot afford that. I'm sorry. Thank you.
No, there's no need to apologize. I want to hear what your circumstances are so I can make an informed decision. I always tell people, if there is something I'm saying, but you want to respond to it, please respond to it, because if you're quiet, guess what? I don't know. So I appreciate you telling me what your financial circumstances are. Okay. All right. Anything else from the defense of the state?
Your Honor, as far as the treatment goes, I do think that it's important that you go in person. I will tell you, Your Honor, being on full house arrest with sole custody of a child, she's probably one of the loneliest people that you will see in your court. Being a part of a group of Alcoholics Anonymous is going to be a tremendous help to her. Being part of a recovery community that was described by Mr. Green is also going to be a tremendous help to her. So we would ask that she be allowed to do those things in person as part of her recovery and pretrial release.
All right. So it's the court's understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong, State, you have no objections with her attending treatment, no objections with her doing drop off, but you do not want her driving.
That's correct, Judge.
All right. So the court will allow you to attend all the treatment. The court will allow you to drop off and pick up your children, but you are not allowed to drive. Is there anything else?
Nothing from the state.
Can we, Your Honor, then get the ignition interlock device removed from her vehicle because she's gonna have to give up. Right now, she
It
has
to go back.
All right. If you file the motion, the court will hear it.
a separate hearing on that, Your Honor,
Pardon?
a separate hearing on
Yes.
that.
So I'll allow you to attend all medical appointments, all treatment appointments. All school functions. And I consider, when I say school function, I consider dropping your children off to school, picking your children up, going to their extracurricular activities. So all school functions, but there's to be no driving.
Your Honor, may I ask one question?
Sure.
May I walk to school? to get
Yes.
her?
Yes, you can walk,
Or ride a bike?
just no driving.
Yes, ma'am.
State, do you have any objection to her riding a bicycle?
I can just walk. I don't have to ride a
No
bicycle.
objection to a bike, just as long as she's following the traffic law, John.
Okay. All right. Is there anything else?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. May we be excused?
Yes. Who's here on Sean Griffin?
I'm Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Griffin, if you'll come forward.
But Judge, he's actually out in the hallway.
Oh,
Can we
haven't,
get him?
yes. And then after Sean Griffin, it's going to be Roberto Maldonado, Carrie Henderson, and Elsa Morales.
Karen Maldonado, Judge, she's got COVID.
All right, just give us a moment. You say Maldonado? Come up forward.
I've got a home test, Judge. His mom had it last week,
Okay.
so we're just asking for a week or two to get him in.
Norma, can we call this at the end of the month?
Very first.
All right, we'll see you August 31st.
Yes, ma'am, thank you.
All right, thank you. Did I tell people there's an outbreak of COVID?
Yes, Judge.
All right, who's the party? You're on that side. Who's the party on Sean Griffin for the state?
Travis, thanks for the state of Texas.
All right, so where are we on this case?
Judge, we received an offer. I still need to keep going through discovery, but have some discovery issues on this one as well.
What are the discovery issues?
That it did not download this afternoon, or not this afternoon, this weekend. So I've gone through a lot of it, but to get the entire aspect of it, go through all the body camera after we download everything.
All right, are there any CPS issues in this case?
No, Judge.
Okay, so Child Protective Services was never called out?
No.
State, were you able to tender an offer or no?
Yes, Judge.
Okay,
And we are considering it, Your Honor.
I'm sorry, what?
We're considering it. I
Okay,
need some time for that as well.
all right, Ms. Ferguson, can I have a 30-day reset on this case for a plea deadline date?
Yes, September 18th.
All right, September 18th is your plea deadline
And
date.
Judge, we would like to ask, he has GPS on, he is a licensed barber, a traveling barber. I've talked to the state about it. There haven't been any issues since this event. If we could do tracking only.
All right, file a motion and the court will consider it.
Okay, thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. Who's here on Carrie Henderson?
I am
All right, this is no application.
That's correct, Your Honor.
Court is calling 2022 CR 10916, State of Texas versus Carrie L. Henderson. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Daniel Escobar for the state of Texas.
Defense,
Todd Lester for Mr. Henderson.
are you Mr. Henderson?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, you received all the discovery and did you review it with your client?
I have, Your Honor, and I have.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Mr. Henderson, I'm showing you what's entitled True Bill of Indictment. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
We do, Your Honor.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
We are, Judge.
Mr. Henderson, I'm showing you what's entitled Court Admonishments. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand you're charged with the offense of possession of a controlled substance, penalty group 1, less than 1 gram? That's a state jail felony. The range of punishment is anywhere from 180 days up to 2 years in the state jail facility and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea. If for any reason the court doesn't follow your plea and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you, and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call in the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by entering this plea, you were giving up those rights?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea in this case?
No, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Sorry.
All right. Did you intend to give up those rights?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you intend to enter into a plea bargain agreement in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
He has.
Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
I do.
Do you believe he's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
I do.
Mr. Henderson, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
No, ma'am.
Has anyone promised you anything other than the plea?
No, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. Showing you the plea bargain page. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
According to the plea, punishment is to be assessed at 1 year in the state jail facility. There are no applications. The state will take in consideration grand jury number 803-269, JN21366760, night mag number 7145598. Did you understand that to be the plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Defense?
Yes, Your Honor.
State?
Yes, Judge.
Showing you the waiver of appeal paragraph. Did you review that paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you sign it in both places?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, have there been any such motions?
There have not, Your Honor.
Then to the offenses charged, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
Guilty.
State, any evidence?
State offer states exhibit 1 in all attachments.
Any objections?
No objections.
State, you may be excused. Mr. Henderson, I'm showing you what's entitled waiver and consent to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call in the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports, but most importantly, there'll be no live testimony? Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence states exhibits 1 and attachments, and the court will review the same. After reviewing state's exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and the court will find you guilty. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
We are, Your Honor.
Anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
Mr. Henderson takes full responsibility. He's pled guilty before this court and wants to put all this behind him. He's very anxious to put this behind him.
All right, the court will find you guilty. The court will take in consideration grand jury number 803-269, JN number 213-6760, NIMAC number 714-598, sentence you to 1 year in the state jail facility and give you credit for any time served. If you would like, I can refer you to the therapeutic community. It does not increase the length of time that you're in custody, but if you have a drug problem, it will help you with that.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, with regards to the therapeutic community, you'll have to request it as well because I don't have any jurisdiction to force them to place you in it. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
So I ordered the therapeutic community. I'm going to show you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. And because this, don't use her thing as your desk. Yeah, that's her office. Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, we can go off the record. How old are you?
I'm 41.
All right, you're 41 years old. Are your parents still in your life?
Yes, ma'am.
And how old is your mom?
She about to be 60.
All right. Does your mom love you?
Yes, ma'am.
You're breaking her heart.
That's what I'm trying to get this passed. So I can get back to her.
So, but when you say get it past you, you've got to work on it. You got to stop using drugs, because otherwise what will end up happening is drugs damage your body inside and outside. You don't want to be that person where there's somebody found dead in San Antonio and people trying to identify the body, and your mom learns on social media that it's you. Because the last time you use could be the last time you use. When you go into custody, nobody likes being in custody. And they always say, when I get out, I'm never going to do this again. But then the first thing they get out, maybe they're good for a couple of days, maybe not. Maybe they say, ooh, I'm celebrating, I'm out. The first thing you need to do is go to AA meetings or NA meetings. And if there's anybody in your life who are trying to stop you from going to AA or NA meetings saying, well, you don't have to go today. Let's play some dominoes. You don't have to go today. Let's go hang out at the park. You need to cut them loose, because the number one thing in your life should be your sobriety. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have children?
No, ma'am.
All right, that's good. Get your life together.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, good luck to you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Who's here on Elsa Morales? Where is probation? All right, the court is calling 2023 CR 5382B, State of Texas versus Elsa Morales. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Hank Wilkins for the state. Lynn
Defense?
Payne for the defense.
And are you Miss Morales? Counsel, have you received all the discovery in this case, and did you review it with your client?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Ms. Morales, I'm showing you what's entitled Application for Deferred Adjudication or Community Supervision. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you sign it?
Yes.
Showing you what's entitled True Bill of Indictment. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
We do, Your Honor.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
We are, Your Honor.
Going to show you what's entitled Court Admonishments. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes.
Just one moment off the record. So this is the y'all gave me. Okay, so put it on October 12th. Okay. We're back on the record. Did you understand you're charged with the offense of theft under $2,500 enhanced? That is a state jail felony. The range of punishment is anywhere from 180 days up to 2 years in the state jail facility and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes.
If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea bargain agreement. If for any reason the court doesn't follow your plea and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes.
Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call in the right to remain silent? Did you understand by entering this plea bargain agreement, you were giving up those rights?
Right.
Did you understand that?
Yes.
And did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea in this case?
Yes.
Did you understand that the court would grant your application for deferred adjudication? If for any reason your deferred adjudication were revoked, the court could fine you guilty and sentence you up to 2 years in the state jail facility and up to the $10,000 fine?
Yeah.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
She has.
Do you believe she has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against her?
I do.
Do you believe she's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
My opinion, yes.
Ms. Morales, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
No.
Has anyone promised you anything other than the plea?
No.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived her right to jury trial, showing you the plea bargain page. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes.
According to the plea, punishment is to be assessed at 1 year in the state jail facility. State is silent on your applications. They're taken in consideration. Grand jury number 8120055 and JN 2127782. Did you understand that to be the plea?
Yes.
Defense?
Yes, Your Honor.
State?
Yes, Your Honor.
Showing you the waiver of appeal paragraph. Did you review that paragraph with your attorney? Did you
Yes.
understand it? And did you sign it in both places?
Yes.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes.
Counsel, have there been any such motions? Then to the offenses charged, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
Guilty.
State any evidence?
Your Honor, I submit State's Exhibit 1 in the attachments.
Your Honor, I reviewed these with my client. We have no objection.
All right, state, you may continue to confer. Showing you what's entitled waivering consent to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call in the right to remain silent?
Yes.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports? But most importantly, there'll be no live testimony. Did you understand?
Yes.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence State's Exhibits 1 and attachments and review the same. After reviewing State's Exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and the court will find you guilty. On this case, they're setting it off for October 12th, but really what I need to know is I just need to know her criminal history, and I can make a decision.
Judge, we'd like to present some evidence. The criminal history is extensive. That's why we requested.
All right, so we can just set it for you to present your evidence, counsel. And that way it won't be set off so far into the future. So what is a good date for you?
I spoke to my client and I told her to be about 30 days, give or take.
Mhm.
Could we do
What days do you do your PSI? Every
No,
day?
you just tell me what's a good day for you to come and we will do it. The state can have the criminal history within a day.
September 21st or September 7th.
All right. Norma, can we put this on September 21st? No, all I need is the criminal history.
Okay.
All right, so we'll come back on September 21st.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, if you'll sign the paperwork. All right, and counsel, I will tell you this, on September 21st, your client will need to be prepared to do a UA
Yes, sir.
on that date.
No, I see this because the paperwork is.
Give me the way you call me.
I know you can do it.
Hello. Sure. Mhm. Okay. Right, you're welcome. Hey, I love the pen. Have a good one. Thanks. Sure. Who is here on Daniel Fretwell? Daniel Fretwell. We're just waiting for your attorney to come back. Eddie Alvarez. And where's Eddie Alvarez?
In custody.
All right, if you come forward, Mr. Alvarez. All right, where are we on this case?
Good morning, Judge. This is the first setting. Mr. Alvarez was just indicted about 2 weeks ago. There is a substantial amount of discovery in this case, a lot of videos, interviews, stuff of that nature. I would request 30 days just to make sure that we have full discovery compliance, just to finish out watching all the videos, making sure we have everything, which I've not had an opportunity to do yet.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, can I have a 30-day reset on Alvarez?
Yes, sir.
And state, were you able to make an offer or no?
I believe it was an offer.
State did tender an offer.
September 19th.
All right, September 19th, that will be your plea deadline date.
Very good, Judge.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
And Norma, that's a plea deadline date.
Thank you.
Ramiro Vale, come forward. Hello, thank you for dressing appropriately for court. All right, so where are we on this case with discovery?
Judge, we have the discovery, but we're asking for a reset. The complaining witness is deceased, but they need time to verify that. So we probably just ask for a 30-day reset so the state can, investigate that and determine how they want to proceed.
That is true, Your Honor. I mean, they just showed me an article stating the same person's name and it's an unusual name, but we do need to make verification of that and the state needs to decide if we're going to proceed at that point.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, can I have a 30-day reset?
September 18th.
All right, once you sign the reset form, you excuse.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Daniel Fretwell. Daniel Fretwell, the defense attorney. Okay. Sonny Alvarez. I'm sorry, Sonny Olivares.
Thank you.
That's okay. All right, where are we on this case with discovery? Has all the discovery been received?
Your Honor, discovery has been tendered to counsel. I spoke with counsel this morning. I believe they have some documents that they would like in our possession.
Okay,
So we're asking for a 30-day reset for counsel to tender us those documents and for us to review them.
all right, so was an offer tendered?
An offer has not been tendered.
All right, is there a reason an offer is not tendered?
Based on counsel's, we've discussed a possible defense to this case, Your Honor. That's what those documents are going towards.
All right, when are you gonna have the information to the state?
Soon as I get to my office, Your Honor, I had already sent it, but it was to some of the old ADAs.
Okay.
And so I had already emailed, so I'm just gonna forward the same email.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, on Sonny Olivares, I need a 2-week reset. All right, September 7th, Ms. Ferguson will give you a reset form. All right, and that day will be your plea deadline date.
And I'll have an offer tendered in.
All right, thank you. You're welcome.
Your Honor, may I?
Yes. Okay, thank you. There you go. Fretwell. And probation, there's no application. Court is calling 2023 CR 2434, State of Texas versus Daniel Fretwell. Can our parties announce for the record for the state?
Hank Wilkins for the state.
Defense? Are you Daniel Fretwell? Counsel, have you received all the discovery and did you review it with your client?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Mr. Fretwell, I'm showing you what's entitled True Bill of Indictment. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
Yes, Your Honor.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Fretwell, I'm going to show you what's entitled Court Admonishments and Defendant's Waivers and Affidavit of Admonitions. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yeah.
Did you understand you're charged with the offense of possession of a controlled substance penalty group 1 gram to 4 grams? That's a 3rd-degree felony. The range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 10 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yeah.
If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea. If for any reason the court doesn't follow your plea and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call and the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by entering this plea bargain agreement, you were giving up those rights?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
I do.
Do you believe he's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Fretwell, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
No, ma'am.
Has anyone promised you anything other than the plea?
No.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. Showing you the plea bargain page. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
According to the plea, punishment is to be assessed at 2 years in the prison and there are no applications. Did you understand that to be the plea? Defense?
Yes, Your Honor.
State?
Yes, Your Honor.
Showing you the waiver of appeal paragraph. Did you review that paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in both places?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, have there been any such motions?
No, such motion has been filed.
Then to the offense as charged, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest.
State any evidence?
Your Honor, submit states exhibit 1 in the attachments.
Your Honor, my client and I reviewed stage one, we have no objection.
Mr. Fretwell, State, you may be excused.
Thank you, Judge.
Mr. Fretwell, I'm showing you what's entitled waiver and consent to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call, and the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements, police reports, and laboratory reports? But most importantly, there'll be no live testimony. Did you understand?
Yes.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence states exhibits 1 and attachments, and the court will review the same. All right, after reviewing states exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there's sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and the court will find you guilty. Are we proceeding with sentencing?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, does anyone know? Because from what I read in the police report, it says that the vehicle was stolen.
I'm still charged. He has been making payments on it.
I was buying it, but I didn't know it was stolen. I was making
And so
payments.
they never went further on
Okay.
it.
All right, anything you wish to say, Mr. Fretwell?
No, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Fretwell, it appears that you have a drug problem. So if you want, I can refer you to the therapeutic community. It does not increase the length of time that you are in prison, but they may be able to help you with your drug issue.
Your Honor, Mr. Fretwell, yes, he does have a drug problem. He picked up a case pending this one
Mhm.
in Williamson County. He's already been sentenced to 3 years on that. He was in TDC and brought back to handle this case.
Okay.
So he's already been,
I've been in there for 8 months.
and so we believe he is getting from treatment and he's looking.
Are
at
you receiving
parole.
treatment at the prison?
Yes, ma'am.
Mhm. All right, then I'll put therapeutic community. I don't want this case to stop you from getting treatment. Court will find you guilty, sentence you to 2 years in the prison, give you credit for any time served, and the court will recommend the therapeutic community. Going to show you what's entitled trial court certification of defendant's rights to appeal. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waived your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. And because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question of what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, we can go off the record. How old are you, Mr. Fretwell?
52,
All right, how long have you been using?
a long time.
All right, so here's the thing. You are going to have to make sure that you stop using. I read in the police report, you were talking about your mom. Is your mom still alive? All right, and I'm sure your mom loves you, right? Stop breaking her heart. So when you go to the prison, you're saying that they're already giving you treatment there, continue with it. Be actively participating, internalize it. When you are released from prison, I know people are excited because they're released. You're probably going to run to your mom, tell her how sorry you are, and it's never going to happen again. You got to remember prison. You got to remember your treatment. And the first thing you need to do when you get out of prison is go to an NA or AA meeting and keep it up. And if somebody tries to dissuade you from going, and by that, I mean, if you have a scheduled standing appointment with AA and they say, well, let's just stop and have lunch. You can do AA tomorrow. You can do it this afternoon. That person, you got to cut them loose, because everybody from here on out who's in your life, when you tell them you have an AA or NA meeting, and if it's at noon or 8 a.m. every day, that person should be saying, oh, do you need a ride to your class? Not, let's just stop and have breakfast. You can go late, because that causes you to backslide. The last thing you want to be is the person in Bexar County and somebody's trying to identify your body, and then they tell your mom that you passed. You understand? Last time you use could be the last time you use. All right, good luck to you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Your Honor, may I approach?
Yes.
So can we get the credit that he was in Williamson and in TDC if I provide it to the
Yes.
so, all right. Okay, thank you. Your Honor.
You're welcome.
Certainly not. How do we word that from about how to do that? Okay, please, and how to do that.
Yes. Okay. Okay, all right, thank you. Okay. Okay, hopefully it comes to me, Bashan. I have it. It just popped in. All right, Saul Lacuna. Hello, how are you doing today?
Good, and you?
Oh, I'm doing great. Why do you think you're here?
For compliance hearing for criminal positive,
All right. And what else?
that should be it.
Well, let me just tell you the report I'm receiving on you. All right, and this is what the probation officer is saying to me about you. And how old are you?
20.
All right, you're 20. Since obtaining the probationer's case, when they say probationer, they're talking about you. He has shown zero to very minimal effort regarding his probation. The probationer has had issues reporting on time, reporting for field visits, testing positive for cocaine and meth, and enrolling or providing proof of employment for any remaining court-ordered programs. The probationer and I have had several discussions regarding his actions and how or what we can do to get back on track, really stressing the small actions, such as simply calling this probation officer within 24 hours after an attempted field visit or taking accountability for his action. The probation appears to continue to struggle to grasp the severity of his circumstances and what he can do to grow and move forward with his life and the lessons he can learn on his probation path. That's the report that I have on you. The report tells me you are doing nothing, zero, nada. Why are you doing nothing on this probation in this court other than using drugs?
I have attended 2 out of the 4 classes, and we have had
No, they say you don't even call in.
probably when they come for a field visit.
Yeah, they say you're not doing the simplest of things. And what I can tell you is you've had 3 motions to revoke in this court. So, and I know that each time you came before me, I've told you that you're looking at up to 10 years in the prison. Deputy Laura, could you do me a favor? Could you place the handcuffs on him, please? Each time you come before me, I know I've told you you're looking at doing 10 years in prison. Obviously, your mother is not laying down the law with you at home. They say that you keep saying that you work with your mom, but you don't provide any proof. I can tell you right now, I'm not going to allow you to work with your mom because I don't know if your mom is actually having you work with her. So you're going to ISF. And the reason why I'm sending you to ISF is because you need an attitude adjustment. You understand? Now, if you don't want to sign to go to ISF, you don't have to sign for it. What will end up happening is a motion to revoke will be filed. So which would you prefer?
ISF, Your Honor.
All right. So he wants to go to ISF, and if you could put him in ISF cognitive.
Your Honor, so we, the recommendation was for local ISF.
Okay.
He did complete the state ISF.
Okay.
Are you?
Well,
wanted to
if
go
the
ahead and go with
recommendation
the
is local, we can go with the local.
Okay.
Has he been drug tested?
He's on a drug patch, Your Honor.
All right. All right. So you're going to go to local ISF. This is the last time we're going to have this conversation with you following rules. Obviously, your mom is not laying down the law with you. So you're not going to be allowed to work with your mom. You're going to have to get a job with a different employer, because if you get a job with a different employer, that employer, if you don't report, they're not going to pay you. They're not going to call the court and say, oh yeah, he reported for work if you did not. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Do you want to go to prison?
No, Your Honor.
All right. If you want to go to prison, I will get an attorney appointed to you and you can go to prison and I'll send you to prison. How old are you?
20 years old.
All right. You're 20. You're going to have to start doing better. Do you have children?
No.
That's a good thing. Probation, this is serious. And I hope I'm getting your attention, because we're not going to have a conversation again where you're not doing anything. You understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, is there anything else you need to be successful on this probation?
No, it shouldn't be.
All right. Do not come back here again where you are not doing anything. You understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
I keep an open mind on everything, but we are not going to have any more compliance hearings with you. If I get a report and it appears that everything is in order, a motion to revoke is going to be filed. When a motion to revoke is filed, what ends up happening is a warrant is issued for your arrest, and you will be picked up wherever you may be. You could be at the grocery store in the middle of checking out or have already checked out. You know what's going to happen? Those groceries are going to be put to the side and they're going to take you to jail. If you are at home, they're going to pick you up and take you to jail. If you're in the middle of watching a movie and you're at the part where they're about to solve everything, guess what? If they pick you up during that time, you're going to miss what happens. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
In this court, probation is serious. In this court, communication is key. And probation officers know that I like for them to communicate with people. And that's why they put in here that they've had several discussions with you regarding your actions. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, good luck to you.
Okay.
All right, and on Carlos Madrigal Hernandez, we need an interpreter. What are we doing today?
No, we're announcing this.
Oh, he needs an interpreter, right?
No.
Well, why does it say, oh, you're right, on here? I missed the word no, no interpreter needed.
Okay.
All right. All right, so in this case, there was an immigration issue. Mother's birth certificate was needed.
Correct.
So has that been done?
Judge, what, no, and let me explain why.
Last time we were here, the court gave us a website that the court found. We reached out to that website. The website is saying she has to go in person. She went in person back on May 26th, 2013. And she's been back since then. She has a receipt for where she paid the $22 for the birth certificate. She's calling almost daily. They still haven't been able to get it to her. When she went, after we were here last time, she went to a couple websites, the one that specifically the court found. She called them. They told her, they went, looked up whatever, they couldn't give it to her over their system. She doesn't know what the holdup is. She's gotten some before, but they won't give it to her this time. Evidently, there is somebody supposedly using her social security number and to file taxes in Chicago, but that wouldn't affect the state. So I wouldn't think that would state.
All right, well, here's the next step to get her birth certificate immediately. Call your state representative, whoever it is in the US House and the US Senate. If you call them and tell them, I'm just trying to get my birth certificate, they will perhaps move it quickly. That worked for my mom when it was taking forever for her to get her passport. And people were saying, oh, it'll take 30 days or 60 days for the passport. My mom got her passport in 2 weeks. So call your state representative and tell them, what's the holdup? I'm trying to get my birth certificate.
She's been to Laredo where she was born, and they told her she had to go to Austin. She went Austin to May 26th, and she's still waiting. So.
Oh, yes. Call state representative and show them that you've been going to these different places.
We'll do that. Thank you.
All right, Ms. Ferguson. This is actually recalled for August 15th instead of the 14th, but can you recall this in 1 month? This will be it for obtaining that information. What date?
September 19th.
All right, so we'll be back on September 19th.
All right, thank you. Judge.
You're
Judge,
welcome.
I'm supposed to start a civil jury trial on the 18th, so.
Okay, we'll see where we are.
That's fine. Thank you. Judge.
All right, once he signs the reset form, he's excused.
Thank you.
Christina Soria. All right, what is happening with this case?
We're ready for trial. They're ready for trial.
Do you have all the discovery?
Today, not today. On a later date.
All right, do y'all have all the discovery? That's what I want to know.
Assuming I do, I would sign whatever they give me.
All right, so if you can give him the discovery acknowledgement. And has an offer been tendered?
Yes. Reject.
All right, Ms. Ferguson. Recall Ms. Soria in 2 weeks for a plea deadline date.
August when?
August 31st. August 31st will be your plea deadline date. At that time, you need to let the court know whether or not you're accepting the state's offer. After that date, the court will not consider any plea bargain agreements without good cause. Otherwise, you have to plea open to the court. Do you understand?
Yes. Yeah.
All right, once you sign the reset form, you're excused. It's always good seeing you.
Well, sometimes I say the same thing that
I like that.
I was teasing you.
I know. And this one's done. Who's here on Lupe Martinez?
For Mr. Martinez, Mr. President, we're ready.
All right, thank you. And counsel, you're on this side and your client's in the middle. Court is calling 2023 CR 4706, State of Texas versus Lupe Martinez. Could I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Hank Wilkins for the state, Your Honor.
Defense?
Bernard Campion for Mr. Martinez, and I don't think it'll be a problem, Your Honor. Mr. Martinez is very hard of hearing. His right ear is pretty good.
All right.
We'll get through it.
All right, I will speak up. Mr. Martinez, if at any time you can't understand me or hear me, just let me know. All right, counsel, have you received all the discovery? Did you review it with your client?
Yes, Your Honor, I have. We have.
All right, court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Mr. Martinez, I'm showing you what's entitled application for community supervision. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you sign it? Showing you what's entitled true bill of indictment. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
We do, Your Honor.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
We are not, Your Honor. We would like to proceed on the lesser included offense of DWI second, Judge.
Any objection?
No objection.
Mr. Martinez, I'm showing you what's entitled court admonishments and defendants waivers and affidavit of admonitions. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places? Just one moment. Did you understand that the state is proceeding on the lesser included offense of driving while intoxicated second? That's a class A misdemeanor. The range of punishment is up to 1 year in the Bexar County Jail and up to a $4,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes.
You need to speak up.
Yes, Your Honor.
If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea. If for any reason the court doesn't follow your plea and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you, and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call and the right to remain silent?
Sure.
Did you understand by entering this plea bargain agreement, you were giving up those rights?
Yes, Your Honor.
And did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea in this case?
Yes, Your Honor.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
He has, Your Honor.
Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you believe he's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Martinez, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
I didn't hear that.
Has anyone placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
Nobody's forced to.
Yeah, yes, Your Honor. No, I didn't.
I'm sorry?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Has anyone coerced you or threatened you to get you to enter this plea?
No, Your Honor.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. Showing you the plea bargain page. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
I understand that we.
According to the plea, punishment is to be assessed at 1 year in the Bexar County Jail. There's a $2,000 fine. State recommends community supervision. Sorry. There's to be the DWI intervention course, sober support meetings twice a week, 2 years Texas driver's license suspension, and the alcohol patch. Did you understand that to be the plea?
Yes.
Defense, is that the plea?
It is, Your Honor, but the state has agreed to allow me to address the court on the amount of the fine.
With regards to fines, I always probate them unless there's a good reason not to.
Very good. And it's as well, a couple of the other matters, the community service and whatnot, if I may address that at the appropriate time.
Yes. All right. Other than that, did you understand that to be the
It
plea?
is, Your Honor.
Mr. Martinez, is that the plea? State, is that the plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
Showing you the waiver of appeal paragraph. Did you review that paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in both places?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Counsel, have there been any such motions?
No.
Next, I'm showing you outside the agreement, the state is requesting that your community supervision be for a term of 2 years. There'll be a TAP evaluation, 200 hours of community service restitution, and 3 days in the Bexar County Jail. Did you understand those are recommendations from the state and the court does not have to follow those recommendations?
Those are recommendations that the judge doesn't have to follow.
Did you understand that?
Yes.
Then to the offense of DWI second, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
Guilty.
State, any evidence?
Your Honor, I submit States Exhibit 1 in the attachments.
No objection.
All right, state, you may be excused to continue to confer. Showing you what's entitled wavering consent to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it at all the appropriate places?
Yes, Your Honor.
Just one moment. We're going to go off the record briefly. Going to show you what's entitled wavering consent to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Did you review those documents with your attorney? Did you understand them and did you sign them in all the appropriate places?
Okay.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call and the right to remain silent?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports, but most importantly, there will be no live testimony? Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence States Exhibits 1 and attachments, and the court will review the same. All right, after reviewing States Exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and the court will find you guilty. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
Yes, Your Honor.
Anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
Yes, Your Honor. Very briefly, Mr. Martinez and his wife are both in their 70s, and as you can see, the only priors that this man has are literally 50 years old. One was 1973, the other one was 1976. And there was nothing aggravating about those. On this particular circumstance, he was very cooperative with the police. The alcohol level was a 0.09, and there was no accident or anything like that. His wife has been diagnosed with cancer. She had her stomach removed. She's undergoing both radiation and chemotherapy, and he's been basically taking care of her and getting her to and from doctor's appointments. So in terms of his ability to do community service, he will obviously do whatever the court orders. His situation, both physically himself and in taking care of his wife, is kind of limits him in that regard. Obviously the fine would be a tremendous hardship to him, and we appreciate the court's consideration in that regard. Finally, Your Honor, I think the state is recommending to the court the 3 days as a condition as some statutory requirement. It's a situation where we would hope the court would perhaps structure some alternative, be it maybe holding it in abeyance or a monitor or something that would allow him to at least maintain the home life and care for his wife that he is undertaking at this time, rather than that interruption. So if there was some combination of conditions that would suffice for those 3 days, it would be greatly appreciated.
All right, Mr. Martinez, are you employed or are you retired?
I'm retired.
Okay. All right, this is what the court is going to do. Court will find you guilty, sentence you to a $2,000 fine that will be probated, 1 year in the Bexar County Jail, suspended and probated for 2 years, DWI intervention, AA or NA meetings 2 times per week, 2-year Texas driver's license suspension, TAP evaluation. If the TAP evaluation recommends outpatient treatment, will begin with, recommends inpatient treatment. We'll begin with outpatient treatment to start with, 3 days in the Bexar County Jail, or you can do 6 days full GPS. And those 3 days in the Bexar County Jail, if you choose that, that will need to be done by, or you'll need to report by, let me pull out the calendar. You'll need to report by September 1st.
And the GPS, would that be coordinated through probation?
Yes. So he can either do 6 days GPS, full GPS, or he can do 3 days in the Bexar County Jail. If he chooses 3 days in the Bexar County Jail, he'll need to report to the jail by September 1st. There's to be regular reporting by Zoom or in person, regular UAs. And Ms. Abrams, they're asking for the alcohol patch.
I meant to ask him about that. I don't see that as being necessary. He's not drinking at all. He's been going to AA. Since this happened, he's been to over 100 AA meetings.
So what type of monitoring device is he currently on?
He's on the ignition interlock
Okay,
and has with no violations.
all right. Well, he is to remain on ignition interlock. Probation, I'm sorry, state, are you okay with him remaining on the ignition interlock?
Yes, Judge, and I guess if it's, he's gonna have his license suspended, if probation feels the portable monitor is more appropriate.
Unless his attorney is going to ask for
At
a
some
license
point,
for medical care.
We're going to try to get an occupational medical
All right.
care at some point.
So we'll do regular UAs. Make sure he's tested for alcohol. Or you can do the patch. All right. And with regards to the community service hours, probation, I'm not going to enact community service hours. Those will be waived once he provides proof of his wife's medical condition.
I have some with me today. Thank you.
All right, so 200 hours community service restitution waived upon proof of wife's medical condition. And probation, if you can just do 1 field visit. And if everything appears to be okay, then you can discontinue the field visits. Is there anything else he needs?
Your Honor, you did mention the ignition interlock. How long are you wanting that?
Thank you. There's going to be ignition interlock for, let me see what they agreed to. We're just going to do ignition interlock until further notice. Counsel, if you wish to have the ignition interlock for the court to consider remove it, do not approach until it's at least half the term. All right.
And I know you said DWI intervention. Want me to make that memo?
Yes.
And proof of SI or
He's retired.
proof of retirement?
Yes, if you have any documentation that shows that you're retired, just provide proof of that to probation.
I don't have it with me.
Oh, no. You can do it at any time.
Okay.
All right. Is there anything else? All right, Mr. Martinez, is there anything else you need from the court? All right, I'm showing you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you sign it?
Yes.
All right, because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement and because you waived your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand? All right, we can go off the record. Thank you for dressing appropriately for court. I really appreciate that. This is what you need to remember. I understand that sometimes when you get a certain age in life and you've contributed to society, you worked, you retired, sometimes your enjoyment is, I just want to watch television. I want to drink a beer. Maybe I want to throw something on the barbecue. But because you're on probation, you're not allowed to drink alcohol at all. You cannot drink alcohol in your home. If you're at a barbecue and somebody wants to give you alcohol, you cannot drink it. You understand? All right. Is there anything else? Good luck to you. Don't drink and drive, because so many bad things can happen. You can end up killing somebody. Usually what ends up happening, I found, and I haven't done a study on this, and my statistics professor would be very upset with me for saying this without doing a study. But what I've discovered is people who are intoxicated in their driving, it could be the worst accident you see. You know who ends up surviving? The intoxicated driver. They're killing the soccer mom. They're killing their passenger or severely injuring their passenger. Just don't drink and drive. You understand? All right. Good luck to you. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. Celine Briard. And probation. This is a probation case. Court is calling 2023 CR 1042, State of Texas versus Celine Renee Briard. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Thank you for the state, Your Honor.
Defense?
Robert Gale, for the defendant.
Are you Celine Briard?
Yes, ma'am.
How do you pronounce your last name?
Briard.
Briard? Oh, I was doing great. Counsel, I'm showing you the discovery acknowledgement. Have you received all the discovery in this case, and did you review it with your client?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Ms. Briard, I'm showing you what's entitled application for probation. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it, and did you sign it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Showing you what's entitled true bill of indictment. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
We do, Your Honor.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
We are, Your Honor, but we're waiving count 2.
Any objection?
No objection, Judge.
Ms. Briard, I'm showing you what's entitled court admonishments. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you sign it in all the appropriate places? In count 1, you're charged with the offense of fraudulent use or possession of identifying information, 5 items or more. That's a state jail felony. Range of punishment is anywhere from 180 days in the state jail facility and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
And up to 2 years in the state jail facility. If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you, and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes.
All right, we can go off the record. Are you all in agreement with her having probation or?
Yes, Your Honor. Sorry.
Okay. All right, we're back on the record. Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call in, the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by entering this plea bargain agreement, you were giving up those rights?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you believe she has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against her?
Yes, I do.
Do you believe she's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
Yes, I do.
Ms. Briard, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
No,
Has anyone promised you anything other than the plea?
no.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived her right to jury trial. Showing you the plea bargain page. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? According to the plea, the state is proceeding on count 1. Punishment is to be assessed at 2 years in the state jail facility. There's a $500 fine to be probated. State recommends community supervision. There's to be restitution, if any, to Juan Palomino, Palimino. Did you understand that to be the plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Defense?
Yes, Your Honor.
State?
Yes, Your Honor.
Showing you the waiver of appeal paragraph. Did you review that paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in both places?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, have there been any such motions?
No, Your Honor.
Next, I'm showing you outside the agreement. State is requesting that your community supervision be for a term of 3 years. There be a TAP evaluation. 100 hours community service restitution, and no contact with Juan Palomino. Did you understand that to be the agreement?
Yes, ma'am.
Defense, is that the agreement?
It is, Judge.
State, is that the agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
Just one moment, I'm sorry. Huh. I am so sorry. What threw me off is that the name has been spelled differently and the no contact order. So what's outside the agreement, which means that the state and the defense may have come to an agreement, but I don't have to follow it. So outside the agreement, the state and the defense have both agreed that you should be placed on community supervision for 3 years, but I could place you on community supervision for more than 3 years. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
They've agreed that you do the TAP evaluation. I can either say yes to the TAP evaluation or no to the TAP evaluation. Do you understand?
Yes.
I could either say yes or no to the 100 hours of community service restitution. I can give you more than that. Do you understand?
Yes.
And there's a no contact with Juan Palomino. And the way it's spelled in that is Palomino. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, then to the offense as charged in count 1, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
Contest.
State, any evidence?
Your Honor, I submit State's Exhibit 1 and the attachments.
No objection, Your Honor.
All right, state, you may be excused.
Thank you, Judge.
Ms. Briard, I'm showing you what's entitled waiver and consent to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you sign it in all the appropriate places? Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call in the right to remain silent?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports, but most importantly, there will be no live testimony? Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find that the defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence State's Exhibits 1 and attachments and review the same. All right, after reviewing State's Exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and the court will find you guilty. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
We'd ask that you would, Judge.
Anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
Judge, that if all of the plea bargain agreement allowed her to be released today, she can report for any type of appointments that are necessary for completion of probation.
All right. So how many children do you have? All right, excuse me. In this area, you all are blocking probation. She cannot hear, she cannot see.
I have 3 children. And I'm expecting.
All right. How old are your 3 other children?
They're 2, 3, and 5 months.
And where are they?
They're with their grandmother.
So how long have they been with their grandmother?
A couple of months, Judge.
Why?
I just had some things going on. I thought it was best for my mother-in-law has custody of my kids right now.
Why does she have custody?
Because I had
I'm sorry, you're gonna have to speak
I
up.
had a CPS case going on because of my son had got out of the apartment when everybody was sleeping early in the morning, and so
Is this the 5-month-old?
no, ma'am, they're 2, 3-year-old.
Okay. So you have a CPS case.
Yes, ma'am. It's currently about to be closed.
Oh, it's about to be closed?
Yes, ma'am.
So that means if it's about to be closed, that means, and your attorney does CPS work, right? So tell her what that means, counselor.
Judge, what happened was it turned out to be a safety plan, an investigation in which I met the safety placement and she verified everything.
So,
if everything pans out, she knows it will be closed. If not, it could go legal. But
so, and the reason why they do the safety plans means exactly what it says, safety, plan.
Yes, ma'am.
So what's your drug of choice?
I mean, I don't do any drugs right now, but I was using methamphetamines, but I've been sober for quite a while now.
All right, how often were you using meth?
Like maybe every week, every other week. It just depends.
When's the last time you used meth?
Like 4 months.
All right, so that's probably why CPS was involved. When's the last time you had employment?
I was right before I was arrested.
Doing what?
I was doing home health care and working for a hotel at the front desk.
All right, I can tell you right now, I don't allow people on probation here to be home health care providers.
Yes, ma'am.
How far did you go in school?
To the 8th grade.
See, and this is nothing about you, but this is my problem with home health care providers. Home health care providing is turning into West telemarketing. They don't do background checks. They're just letting anybody come in. And maybe I'm wrong for saying this, but they're looking at the bottom line, the dollar line. So I'm being told that they're letting somebody with an 8th grade education who has meth issues, who has 3 children that she doesn't even have custody for them, work as a home health care provider. Thank you, home health care provider people. So that is why I don't let people work as home health care provider. Now, maybe once you get your life together, maybe that will be a good fit for you, but I'm not going to allow that.
Yes, ma'am, I understand.
So why do you only have your 8th grade education?
I just never furthered my education, but I am in, actually, just before I got arrested, got some GD books from the library, so I am trying to pursue my GD.
Okay. So what are you planning on doing with your rest of your life? What are your hopes, your dreams?
Well, after I get my GD, I want to be a cosmetologist. So.
Okay. Hey, that's doable. But I will tell you this, anything that requires a license, when you have convictions, before you start spending all that money to do it, you need to find out from the state, wherever you're going to be licensed, if that's going to be a hindrance to you.
Okay.
Not saying that it will stop you, but it may cause complications.
Okay.
All right, counsel, is there anything else?
Oh, yeah.
All right, this is what the court is going to do. The court is going to sentence you to 2 years in the state jail facility, suspended and probated for 4 years. There's a $500 fine that will be probated. There's to be 200 hours of community service restitution. I'm going to ask for parenting classes, probation, whatever parenting classes you deem would be appropriate for her. Obviously, it needs to be intensive, because for them to say that the children are to remain where they remain, that means that she didn't do any. So I'm going to want intensive. There's to be restitution and no contact with Juan Palomino. There's to be no unsupervised contact with minors. There's to be proof of employment within 30 days of release. There's to be no employment as a home health care provider or with minors. Regular reporting by Zoom or in person. The UA hotline until further notice. Field visits 1 time per month until further notice. TAP evaluation in custody. Follow all TAP recommendations. If TAP is recommending outpatient treatment, then I'm going to want intensive outpatient treatment. If they are recommending inpatient treatment, then she can do intensive treatment. And do a referral to felony drug court. I know that felony drug court is full, but maybe she can be placed on the wait list if they are recommending inpatient treatment for her. Probation, is there anything else she needs? Yes. All right, is there anything else you need from the court in order to be successful?
No, ma'am.
Judge, she'd like to know, how much longer or how long she would be waiting for that CAT evaluation since you ordered it in custody.
Yes. Up to 2 weeks.
Okay, thank you.
All right, I'm going to show you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, because this is a plea bargaining agreement, because I followed your plea bargaining agreement, and because you waived your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so here's the thing. Those 3 children, those are your children. It's not the grandparents' child. The grandparents are just supposed to be grandparents to children. They're not supposed to be raising more children, which is raising your children. You cannot have children and then tell them to go to Travis Park and say, you're on your own. And there is no reason a child should be able to get out of your house and you not know about it, and they're that age. So many things could have happened to your child when they got out of the house. Could have been hit by a car. And guess what? People can't see children that age because they're tiny and they're small. Somebody could have picked them up. And guess what? There's a reason we have indecency with a child cases in this court. Anything could have happened to your child. And when you're using drugs and you're pregnant, whatever you're using, your child is using too. So if you don't think a baby should be smoking a cigarette, you shouldn't be smoking a cigarette, because guess what? When you're carrying a child and you're smoking a cigarette, your babies are smoking a cigarette. If you don't think a child should be doing alcohol, when you're drinking alcohol, your baby's drinking alcohol. You're going to have to start making better choices. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Yes. If she completes the parenting classes. And I'm sorry, put in there a GED or either some sort of trade school.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, thank you. Fabian Cardenas. All right, hi. I'm like, can't see without my glasses. Are you all ready to proceed on this motion to revoke?
No, Your Honor, this case, the new number 1 on this case, it, I believe it says endangering a child. It involves a SBI injury to a young
Okay.
child. So we are still working on it in the intake level. I because of the nature of the injury, I need to talk to my chief about how she would like us to proceed.
Okay, so when is that going to be ready?
If I could have about 2 weeks, Your Honor. I know I'm meeting with her on Wednesday. About it then, I will.
All right, Ms. Ferguson. On Fabian Cardenas. Set this for a contested in 30 days. Yes. And if it's a little bit after 30 days, that's fine, but not less than 30 days.
Okay, thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. All right, September 14th, once you sign the reset form, you're excused.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Robert Shanahan. Yes. Mhm. Okay. Okay. All right. All right. So in this case, hi, last time we were here, videos do not exist, all for tendered. Defense attorney was in trial. So today is his plea deadline date. So is he accepting?
Oh, today was a plea deadline, Your Honor?
Yes.
I was uninformed. Ms. Franklin is not available today. She's the attorney of record. She asked if I step in.
Mhm.
There was a potential new plea that was extended today. But she also filed a motion to suppress. She had asked for me to ask for a plea deadline and a motion to suppress hearings. I wasn't aware of today.
All right, the motion to suppress is going to be carried with trial.
Yes,
Ms.
Judge.
Ferguson, recall this for August 21st.
Yes, Judge.
That's your plea deadline date.
Yes, Judge.
Is there anything else?
Brother.
All right, thank you.
I do that on video, because I look for video.
State would request that defendant be here in person, Judge.
Yes, you'll need to be hearing present in court. All right, so August 21st is plea deadline date. Is there anything else?
Oh, yes, sir. I'm sorry, was
Is there anything else?
nothing further from me.
All right, Mr. Shanahan, anything else? All right, we'll see you back on August 21st.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. Sign the reset form, then you're excused. All right, Victor Rivas. Who's the attorney on Victor Rivas? Tevin Towns. All right, so where are we on the state making a determination on whether or not they'll do PTD?
They allowed us today to make an application, Your Honor, and we have submitted that application.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, I need a reset date for PTD for Tevin Towns.
September 18th.
All right, once you sign the reset form, you excuse.
Thank you very much. Your
You're
Honor.
welcome. Have a good
Appreciate
one.
the court.
Morning. All right, it's almost the noon hour.
That's stepped over in the neighboring court, you call Victor Rivas.
Yes. Victor Rivas. All right, so is this a plea on more than one case?
Judge, it's a plea on one case and then there should be some TIC forms.
Yes. Court is calling 2022 CR 2674, State of Texas versus Victor Rivas. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Hank Wilkins for the state, Your Honor.
Defense?
Ruben Pisani for Mr. Rivas.
And are you Victor Rodolfo Rivas? Counsel, have you received all the discovery and did you review it with your client?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Mr. Rivas, I'm showing you what's entitled application for community supervision. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Showing you what's entitled true bill of indictment. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
Yes, we do.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented? I believe you're waiving count one.
Yes, ma'am. Sorry, Judge.
No problem. Any objections to the waiver of count one?
No objections.
Showing you what's entitled court admonishments and defendants waivers and affidavit of admonitions. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am, to all.
Did you understand in count two, you're charged with the offense of possession of a controlled substance, penalty group 2, 4 to 400 grams. That's a second degree felony. The range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 20 years and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea. If for any reason the court doesn't follow your plea and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call and the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am, to all.
Did you understand by entering this plea bargain agreement, you were giving up those rights?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
In my opinion, yes.
Do you believe he's currently competent, was legally sane at the time of the offense? Mr. Rivas, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
No, ma'am.
Has anyone promised you anything other than the plea?
No, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Absolutely.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. Showing you the plea bargain page. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
According to the plea, the state is proceeding on count 2. Punishment is to be assessed at 9 years in the prison. There's a $2,000 fine. State recommends community supervision. They will take in consideration 2022 CRs 2675, 2022 CR 1261, County Court cause number 666801. There's to be restitution, if any, to Felix de Jesus Salas and cause number 2022 CR 1261. You are to forfeit the weapon in County Court cause number 666801. Did you understand that should be the plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Defense, is that the plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
State, is that the plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
And the court will note for the record that Neil Kalfas is listed as the attorney of record.
Your Honor, I'm an associate for Neil Kalfas' office.
All right, do you have any objection with this attorney standing in? Then I show you the waiver of appeal paragraph. Did you review that paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in both places?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, are there any such motions?
No, Your Honor.
Next, I'm showing you outside the plea bargain agreement, the state is requesting that your community supervision be for a term of 9 years. There be a TAP evaluation and 200 hours of community service restitution. Did you understand those are recommendations from the state and the court does not have to follow those recommendations?
Yes, ma'am.
Then to count 2 in the offense, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
Guilty.
State, any evidence?
Your Honor, I submit State's Exhibit 1 in the attachments.
No objections, Your Honor.
All right, state, you may be excused. Showing you what's entitled waiving consent to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am, to all.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call and the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports? But most importantly, there will be no live testimony. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence states exhibits 1 and attachments and review the same. All right, after reviewing states exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and the court will find you guilty. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
Yes, Your Honor.
Anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
Yes, Your Honor, we would ask that this court would follow the plea that the defendant signed on, and furthermore, we would like to request the court if they would allow his fine to be probated, as he does have limited financial means, but he is going to be getting a job in construction when he gets out. He's a motor operator.
All right. Do you have any children?
Yes, ma'am.
How many?
I had 3, but one of my sons passed away.
I'm sorry to hear that.
That's
What are
kinda
the
why I did
ages of your other children?
12 and 16.
And where are they?
They're with their mother right now.
Are you and the mother still together?
Off and on, you know.
It's complicated.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. When's the last time you had contact with them before you went to custody?
The day I went in, they needed groceries. I went to go get groceries and I was apprehended by US Marshals. I believe US Marshals. So somebody got me at the HEB for my warrant.
Okay. How far did you go in school?
I had my GED and I completed 9th grade.
Okay. Drug use?
I smoked weed.
Anything else?
Occasionally I did, you know, some cocaine, you know, and I drinking what got me in
So
trouble.
cocaine, alcohol, marijuana,
Yeah,
anything else?
that's it.
Right? So here's the thing. If they end up testing you and it's something other than those, we're gonna have some issues because that meant that you're being dishonest. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
So if you were released, would you be living with anyone?
I'd be living alone. My grandfather's home, 321 West Baylor.
Okay. Anyone else lives at your grandfather's home?
No, ma'am. I'm the only one in control of the house right now.
Okay. And what's up with the tattoo?
Well, I had 3 friends that died in a car crash, and on the day of the rosary, I got a rosary for it.
And then the arm?
On this one, that's just my initials in Chinese.
Okay. Is that supposed to be the Grim Reaper?
Yes, ma'am.
Why do people always choose the Grim Reaper?
I don't know. It's something I got when I was younger.
All right. How young were you when you got it?
I was 16.
People are just giving tattoos to underage children. All right. Court is going to sentence you to 9 years in the prison, suspended and probated for 9 years. There's a $2,000 fine that will be probated. Taking consideration 2022 CR 2675 1261. County Court Cause number 666801. Restitution to Felix De Jesus Salas in 2022 CR 1261. You're to forfeit the weapon and 666801. There's to be regular reporting by Zoom or in person. The UA hotline until further notice. 200 hours of community service restitution. Parenting classes and probation, whichever parenting class you deem is appropriate. Once the parenting classes is completed, then the 200 hours of community service restitution will deem to have been satisfied. Proof of employment within 30 days of release. There's to be no employment as a home health care provider or with minors. There's to be no unsupervised contact with minors. Probation, you can do a gang evaluation. And I'm going to want field visits, random, one time every 3 months. Probation, is there anything else? Is there anything else you need from the court in order to be successful? Okay. I'm going to show you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waived your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, we can go off the record. Here's the thing, Mr. Rivas.
Yes, ma'am.
People in this court, sometimes they think that they can do things on probation and not get caught. It always happens. At some point in time, people will get caught. In this court, communication is key if you want to be successful on probation. If there's an issue, let probation know. If you feel they're not addressing it, you can always come back to court. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, from here on out, everything you do, there are 2 questions you need to ask yourself. Is this something that could potentially result in me going to prison for 9 years? If the answer is yes, don't do it. If the answer is maybe, don't do it. And realize that your 2 children and the child who has passed want to be proud of you. And if what you're doing is not making them proud, then don't do it.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, good luck.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome. Who's here on Brian Swaney Murphy? All right, and prosecutors, it is 12 o'clock. So whatever you want to hold over, you need to let the deputies know. And probation, this is an application for deferred. Court is calling 2023 CR 5819, State of Texas versus Brian Lee Swaney Murphy. Could I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Daniel Escobar from the state of Texas.
Defense,
Larry Mose, the defendant.
are you Brian Lee Swaney Murphy?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, have you received all the discovery and did you review it with your client?
Yes,
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Mr. Swaney Murphy, I'm showing you what's entitled application for deferred adjudication. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Next, I'm showing you what's entitled true bill of indictment. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
yes, I do.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
Going on count 1, judge waiving count 2.
Any objection?
No objection.
Off the record, probation, this is going to be a PSI. All right, we're back on the record. Mr. Swanee Murphy, I'm showing you what's entitled Court Admonishments and Defendant's Waivers and Affidavit of Admonitions. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
It's that. Initial record.
Yes. Thank you.
Be surprised how many people don't have anything.
Did you understand? And count one, you're charged with the offense of lawfully carrying a weapon with a felony conviction as a second-degree felony. Range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 20 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea. If for any reason the court doesn't follow your plea and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call in the right to remain silent?
And did.
Did you understand by entering this plea bargain agreement, you were giving up those rights?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand if the court were to grant your application for deferred adjudication, if for any reason your deferred adjudication were revoked, court could find you guilty and sentence you up to 20 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
Yes, I have.
Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
I do.
Do you believe he's currently competent, was legally sane at the time of the offense?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Swanee Murphy, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
No, ma'am.
Has anyone promised you anything other than the plea?
No, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. Showing you the plea bargain page. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
According to plea, punishment is to be assessed at 5 years in the prison. The state is silent on your application. They're taking in consideration grand jury number 7832234, JN number 2092866. Did you understand that to be the plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Defense?
Yes, Your Honor.
State?
Yes, Judge.
Showing you the waiver of appeal paragraph. Did you review that paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you sign it in both places?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, have there been any such motions?
No.
Then to the offenses charged, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
Contest.
State any evidence to support the defendant's plea?
State offer state exhibit 1 and all attachments.
No objection.
All right, I'm showing you what's entitled waiver and consent to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, Your Honor.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call in the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports, but most importantly, there'll be no live testimony? Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence states exhibits 1 and attachments and review the same. All right, after reviewing states exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there's sufficient evidence to find you guilty. The court will defer finding of guilt as you've applied for deferred adjudication. You'll come back on September 28th. I'll make a decision on your application based upon the PSI report and any other evidence that's presented to me. If you can do a PSI report and gang evaluation as well. They gave me September 28th. All right, is there anything else?
No, then you're on.
All right, we'll see you back then.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Sure. All right, everyone, we're going to go on a short recess. So Norma, the people who we have left is Benny Santos with Patrick Montgomery.
They're coming back, Norma Lara told me to come back at 1:30, Judge, for a plea.
Okay,
Mr. Santos's paperwork is in progress.
Done, Judge, but she told me to come back at 1:30. I just did a time.
no, that's fine.
And then I have Mr. Ariamo. His paperwork has been submitted, but he has yet to be sworn, I believe. So I imagine I'm coming back after lunch because I've got 2 of them.
Okay.
I can get them done.
And then Graciela Rosales.
Mr. Robin said he didn't have that on his file. So he said that he come back tomorrow.
All right, let me see that file on Graciela Rosales.
I don't know if she's here or not. She's here.
She's here. All right, Ms. Rosales, if you'll come forward. Your attorney is asking for your case to be called tomorrow. He's saying he had no idea that this was on the docket today. So we're going to bring you back tomorrow.
Okay, that's.
Do you have your attorney's contact information?
Or I'll get it right here. That's fine. Great.
No, I mean, they'll give you his contact information.
Thank you.
All right, they're going to give you a reset form, then your excuse.
Okay, thank you. Just have a- I know.
And then we have Jonathan Oleg. Where's his, oh, Mr. Basil, you here?
So I had. Part of my understanding, he was sent back and they're trying to get him back over here. That's what I was told.
Was accidentally sent back by transport downstairs. We'll be back by.
All right, so we'll bring him back at 1:30. And then Cristobal Miranda, where's Hector Garza?
He was sent back, Judge.
But where's his attorney?
He was involved there, Judge. He asked me to get the call from tomorrow.
All right, let me see the file on Miranda. All right, thank you. So we're going to call that tomorrow.
Mr. Rosales?
Okay. On that one, we're going to do a judge's fine. No, we're going to do it today. All right, thank you.
I'd be back down on Monday now. So just check.
Shanae Caldwell. Shanae Caldwell. All right, can I see a prosecutor? Court is going to call 2023 CR 6196 and 2023 6197, State of Texas versus Shanae Caldwell. State, if you could announce, please.
Hank Wilkins for the state.
All right, this hearing was scheduled at 9 a.m. Defense counsel was here at 9 a.m. The defendant was not present. The defendant has not been present in the courtroom. Deputy, did you make an announcement for Shanae Caldwell?
Yes, Your Honor, and she is not in the hallway.
All right, State.
Your Honor, I asked for a bond forfeiture.
All right, the court will do a judge's warrant and remand her without bond in each cause number. If she makes an appearance, the court will reconsider.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. All right, who's here on Josue Ramirez? Mr. Ramirez? Court is calling 2021 CR 3272, State of Texas versus Josue Ramirez. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Hank Wilkins for the state.
Defense?
Marshall B. White, Jose Ramirez, non-defendant.
And are you Josue Torres Ramirez?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, let me find you on the docket. Counsel, have you received all the discovery? Did you review it with your client?
Yes, Your Honor, at this time, I believe I have.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Mr. Ramirez, I'm showing you what's entitled application for deferred adjudication or community supervision. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you sign it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Showing you what's entitled true bill of indictment. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
I do, Your Honor.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
Your Honor, we're proceeding under the lesser included offense of possession of a controlled substance, PG 2, 1 to 4 grams.
Any objection?
No objections, Your Honor.
Going to show you what's entitled court admonishments and defendants waivers and affidavit of admonitions. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand that the state is proceeding on the lesser included offense of possession of a controlled substance penalty group 2, 1 gram to 4 grams as a 3rd-degree felony? The range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 10 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea. If for any reason the court doesn't follow your plea and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call in the right to remain silent?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand by entering this plea bargain agreement, you were giving up those rights?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea in this case?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand if the court were to grant your application for deferred adjudication, if for any reason your deferred adjudication were revoked, the court could find you guilty and sentence you up to 10 years in prison and up to $10,000 fine?
Yes, Your Honor.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
I do, Your Honor.
Do you believe he's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
I do, Your Honor.
Mr. Ramirez, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
No, Your Honor.
Has anyone promised you anything other than the plea?
No, Your Honor.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. Showing you the plea bargain page, did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, Your Honor.
According to the plea, the state is proceeding on the lesser included offense of possession of a controlled substance, penalty group 2, 1 gram to 4 grams. They're recommending deferred adjudication, and there's to be restitution of $57 to Live Oak for police department for drug testing. Did you understand that to be the plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense,
Yes, Your Honor.
state?
Yes, Your Honor.
Showing you the waiver of appeal paragraph. Did you review that paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in both places?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Counsel, are there any such motions?
No, they have not, Your Honor.
Next, I'm showing you outside the agreement. State is requesting that your community supervision be for a term of 2 years. There'll be a TAP evaluation, 100 hours community service restitution, regular UAs, and sober support meetings once a week. Did you understand those were recommendations and the court does not have to follow those recommendations?
Yes, Your Honor.
Then to the lesser included offense, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest.
State any evidence.
Your Honor, I submit State's Exhibit 1 in the attachments.
No objections, Your Honor.
All right, state, you may be excused. Showing you what's entitled waivering consent to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, Your Honor.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call in the right to remain silent?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports? But most importantly, there will be no live testimony. Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence State's Exhibits 1 and attachments and review the same. All right, after reviewing State's Exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there's sufficient evidence to find you guilty. Court will defer finding of guilt as you've applied for deferred adjudication. Are we proceeding with sentencing?
Yes, Your Honor.
Anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
Respectfully, Your Honor, on behalf of my client, we'll ask the court to follow the plea bargain that Mr. Ramirez entered into with the state of Texas.
All right. Mr. Ramirez, how old are you?
20 years old.
And who is Seth Hammond to you?
He was a friend.
Do you have any children?
No, no, Your Honor.
How far did you go in school?
Senior year,
You graduated?
Why?
I didn't graduate.
Why?
I had wanted to open up a sneaker store with my friend in Austin.
So you thought, hey, let me not graduate because this is a great plan.
It was the best path I could take then and there. I had no other.
So
intention
did you
of
have
it.
money to open up a sneaker store?
No, but I had shoes.
So what are you gonna do? Pop-ups? What?
So we had opened one up. It's called Dirty Kicks, located in Barton Creek.
Mhm.
And I was supposed to go to school out there, and
Did not do that. Why not?
it was super complicated. I was always at the store at late hours. He always needed me there, and we had a bad fallout.
Okay, you're gonna have to speak up and slow down because the court reporter cannot understand what you're saying.
All right, let me start.
Yes, so why didn't you graduate? Your plan was to go to Austin, which is expensive, open up a sneaker store. So you opened up a sneaker store and you didn't graduate. Why not?
Just didn't really, I just felt like doing that would have benefited my life a little bit more, and it did. Because I still want to open up my own store, and I've learned all the mistakes that could go down, all the management. Like, if I were to be presented a store right now, I could run it with like the utmost perfection. I would have the best sneaker store in the world. Hands down.
But you don't have money for that, but all you do is have this criminal case.
Yeah.
Who is the person in court with you?
My stepbrother.
All right. So are you still vaping?
No.
Let me just tell you about vaping, what the research tells me. There are people who are high school football players, high school basketball players who are vaping. That is reported in the news. One of them died. You know why he died? From vaping. Ended up with what they call popcorn lungs, and he died. Vaping, and you can do whatever you want to do with the vaping, but this is what I'm telling you. Vaping is not good for your body. Vaping destroys your lungs. I know everybody think it's cool. Look at me. I'm smoking on I'm vaping. It's not like cigarette, and it comes in different flavors. It's destroying the body. And I'm just waiting for the civil lawsuits to start. Usually when you have new things like that, and usually with cigarettes, I know it lasted a long time, but once the civil suits start, then everybody gets out of that business. They've made their money. People die. In the words of the guy from Rocky, did you ever watch Rocky? You need to watch Rocky. There's a scene in it with Dolph Lundgren, and you know what he says? He dies. And that's the whole thing with vaping. You die. You understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
And what is this? Do you have your driver's license now?
No, I don't. I'm working on it. It's been a hassle to get.
So how did you get here today?
My stepbrother drove me.
All right, that's the other thing. You shouldn't be driving without a license. And let me explain something here. I read in the police report that vehicle was your parents' car. If you would have been in an accident while you would have been driving that, your parents could have been sued. And who knows, maybe somebody would end up taking their house, their life savings in a civil suit. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
People always want to be adult, but they pass off the adult responsibilities to other people. And you would have been passing that off to your parents. You're going to have to start making better decisions. You want to live your life, fine, go live your life, but don't put your parents in liabilities way. You understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
So who are you living with?
My stepbrother.
And are you employed?
No, Your Honor.
So is your stepbrother employed?
Yes.
So basically you're living off of him.
Yes.
Well, not basically, you are. What do you contribute to the household?
Clean. I do all the housework.
Is that your life's dream, to live with somebody where you don't have to pay bills and you're just there to clean and do the housework?
No, Your Honor.
Why are you not with your parents? Don't like their rules?
Well, no, they had divorced, and they just
So why are you not with your mom or your dad?
don't enjoy being around them as much.
Because they have rules. What rules does your brother have for you?
That I clean, that I have everything situated.
But otherwise, you can do whatever you want to. You can come in when you want to come in.
Yeah. Yes,
That's
Your
what you like.
Yeah.
And it's either yes or no. You're not yep. You understand?
Honor. Could you repeat that, please?
I said it's either yes or no. It's not yep. Do you understand?
Yes.
Okay. You're going to get a job. You understand?
Yes.
While you're in this court, everyone who's on probation, unless there's a good reason, they must have employment. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, I'm going to sentence you to 4 years deferred adjudication. If you complete everything early, then the court will consider early termination, and your attorney can explain to you what that is. There is to be restitution of $57. to Live Oak PD for drug testing. There's to be regular reporting by Zoom or in person, regular UAs, $100 hours of community service restitution. You're going to get your GED, or either you're going to get some sort of certificate. Once that's completed, the community service hours will be deemed satisfied. You're going to do NA meetings one time per week until further notice. When you're drug tested today, what are the results going to be? And before you answer me, know that you're going to get a drug test today. So what are the results going to be? Tell the truth, shame the devil. What are the results going to be?
Dirty, man.
What are you going to be dirty for?
Marijuana.
And what else?
That'll be all.
All right, you're doing a UA today, and it better just be that. You understand? So I'm going to want a UA today from him. So the NA meetings once a week, that's your sober support meetings. Going to do a TAP evaluation. And if the TAP evaluation recommends inpatient treatment, we'll start with outpatient treatment. Proof of employment within 30 days. And for you, that's going to be full-time employment. And in this court, full-time employment means at least 40 hours a week. There's to be no employment as a home health care provider or with minors. And we're going to do the UA hotline until further notice to help him wake up. And make sure they're testing for levels. Probation, is there anything else he needs? Yes. We're going to do field visits one time per month until further notice. All right, is there anything you need from the court? Anything else to be successful on this probation?
No, Your Honor.
Showing you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you sign it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement. And because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, we can go off the
I
record.
would like to say something. before we
Yes.
go off the record. We're still on the record?
Yeah, we're on the record.
Okay, that was for 2 years. I guess the court disregarded that.
Yes.
Make sure of that.
All right, no problem. All right, we can go off the record. Here's the thing. You're in your 20s. 20s are great. Young people think that I'm young, I'm going to be young forever. I will tell you, once you pass the age of 21, years go by quickly. And if you're spending your time using drugs, having, clouds above your head from drug use, you're going to wake up and you're going to realize that you have let a part of your life go by. You don't remember where it went or what you did with it. You're going to have to start making better decisions. Otherwise, if you continue to vape, you're going to end up with popcorn lung, potentially. And that's not good because you can't breathe when that happens. You understand? And there is nothing they can do to help you when you have popcorn lung. They'll take you to the hospital, pretend like, hey, we're doing all we can. We have them on the ventilator, but you're not going to be able to breathe. And if you think that's fun, stop breathing right now. And don't take any breaths in through your nose or your mouth and see how that feels. And try doing that on a regular basis. You had better start making changes. You understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, good luck to you.
You can go ahead. Okay, you need to talk to him? Oh.
All right, so we will be back at 1:30. We still cannot have our book club thing. I guess we're going to have to do it. We'll see if we can do it tomorrow. All right, we'll be back at 1:30.